My family, hi, welcome to yet another one here on Truth and Love the Church with your brother Joseph. A lot of people don't know Prophet Angel's journey in ministry, but he is going to be sharing, part of it, but it will really interest you to know. So let's get into it as he talks about Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, Dr. Rodney Howard Browne, Prophet TB Joshua, Pastor Chris Oyakilome, and other great servants of God.
In every location I've been to, Bushiri got to know about me in 2004. I was on TV, on Faith TV in Britain. 2007, I was on TV. With few people, 14 people, and I was on TV. And when I was sitting down like this, I was sitting down in my house, and I was doing prophecies, just 2 or 3 prophecies. And you've got 14 that come to church. You can do maybe 2 or 3 prophecies. And then you wait for another week to do another prophecy. And you can't do, if the whole church, if you do the whole, if you do a prophetic day, everyone has been prophesied to, they might go back to their houses. 14, then we went to 30. And we're now on TV in Britain. One day I was sitting in my house. The phone rang. And my wife said, there's somebody here who is claiming to have been sent by Prophet TB Joshua. I said, no, cut the phone. It's a lie. We cut the phone. The phone rang again. I said, give me. I answered. I wanted to shout at the person. But the person was so calm. Senior Prophet TB Joshua wants you in Nigeria. I'm like, how do you know I know about TB Joshua? I just watched him on the internet looking at TB Joshua. And guess what? When they saw the channel that I was coming on, and I was doing prophecies and all that, and in those days, it was only Prophet TB Joshua who was actually doing prophecies. And I'm looking at this, and I'm the only one there who has his own TV concentrating on prophecies. So now it's me and TB Joshua. But guess what? I'm the only one who is saying in TB Joshua. Guess what? TB Joshua is surprised to see the videos. It's like, where is this young man? Within 2 weeks, I was in Nigeria at the invitation of Prophet TB Joshua. Stayed there for over 8 days, I believe it was. Stayed with the prophet there. Notice here, when we were there in this corridor, as he begins to pray for people, he called me to stand next to him, and he started showing me what he was doing. Not that he was saying, see what I'm doing. When someone puts you next to him and say, follow, and then starts doing. So I was learning as we were moving. I was going. But in that process, we were given time to give our testimonies. And I said some statements of how he brought me to Nigeria at that time. That alone changed a lot of people. Like, you mean prophet invited you? Now I realized not all of us have been invited by the prophet. Some applied. But I was a young person with 30, 40 members, consistent. Of course, African pastors can't count. If you would ask me at that time, I would say 100. Good are going to count there. One too many.
Do you know baboons can't
count? Now watch this. And African pastors act like baboons. How many people do you have? 2,000. 2,000. How many chairs? I need the help with my chairs, man. I have 200 chairs. You said you are 2,000 members. So imagine having the access to TB Joshua, who had the access and the ear of the world and presidents. And here I am, live, I'm sitting there, and they said, that is that young man who was in this location. And we're being filmed, and they shot. And now all of a sudden, TB Joshua is there. I have now been given access. And then the last day I'm supposed to leave. And the day I'm supposed to leave, I was supposed to leave the following day. And people are now being called in to see Prophet TB Joshua. I just went in there and I stopped the bell because you would ring a bell to say next. I could hear the bell every time someone comes in, goes in, comes out. Few seconds in, out. I said, I just went there and grabbed the bell like this. He started laughing. I said, don't touch this bell. I will tell you what I want to tell you. But notice what I'm trying to say here. The momentum of understanding access to a level where I said, I've gotten access now. Are you getting this? I remember one time, and I'll tell you this. This is something that I don't say a lot. I remember a prophet in South Africa. You know him, white man.
So here he's talking about the late Prophet Cobus van Rensburg.
Very good teacher. But I think they had a run-in with Prophet TB Joshua and it was not good. And now I'm close to TB Joshua. But I've been invited to preach for the white prophet from South Africa. So I honored that. So I went there. But in that moment when I went there, that man was popular around the world. Cobus was popular. He had never invited any black preacher to preach anywhere near his pulpit. And do you know how he got me? Simple. I was coming from Mandela's house with Prophet Makandiwa. And then I got a call that there is a man who has been calling and calling and calling, and he says he wants prayer. I said, who is that? He said, Prophet Cobus. I said, that person, when he calls again, shout at them. They're lying. They said, these people have been calling. Then he called one of the guys we went with to Mandela's house. And we were with the guy. The guy said, yeah, he's been looking for you for months. I said, okay. Prophet is going to Zimbabwe. I'm going to see Cobus. So I went there. And that's when the meeting happened where I needed to come for the conference. In that meeting, a lot happened. Even some apostles you see now in Nigeria, you know them by name. That's when they saw me.
One of the apostles I can actually mention, that's Apostle Joshua Selman.
And they were young kids. In the sense of not too young, but they were still at university. And some of them were college. And they are seeing a man calling out names, white people coming out and crying and all that. It changes everything when it's another race, because people always think it's planned until another race is involved. But that access I got from Rodney Howard Browne, the access I got from Pastor Chris, the access I got from Cobus, the access I got from TB Joshua, if it was not presented well, my gifting, though big, would not be anywhere. How was I going to be known in America? Faith TV was there, but it was just, we were not getting a lot of calls from America. We're getting many calls from Africa and UK. That's it. But it took Rodney Howard Browne to put me on the map in America. Are you hearing? It took TB Joshua to acknowledge me. For people who say TB Joshua was a prophet, and he was and still is, to say this man actually acknowledges Angel is a prophet. Last week here, we had a man of God who has got a lot of members. He came here, you just didn't see because you don't know him. He was sitting there. And when we finished ministering, they brought him to me and they said, hey, the man of God you called, you said you wanted to see them after. He's a man of God. I said, so I started seeing the pictures of the man with his big church. And when I prayed for him as he was leaving, I said, who told you about me? He said, Prophet TB Joshua. I said, where? When was that? And how? Why did it take you this long? He said, in a vision. He said, I saw TB Joshua in a vision. And he said, go to Prophet Angel. Remember one of the men that came here with his wife and I was prophesying to them. Then afterwards they told us they are actually on the video on the day Prophet TB Joshua passed on. They're on the video. Only after, that's when they said, we are on the video, we do this. I was there, I saw the angel. I'm the one who gives this testimony that I saw the angel. And the guy with beard that came here. Why? How are they moving? Listen to me. That means in the realm of the spirit, there is something that assigns mantles to people. But those mantles will be useless if you don't find a midwife. You see, when I'm prophesying to these apostles and you're an apostle, what am I doing? I'm announcing to the world so that their functionalities will be exposed and they begin to be people that can actually cause changes. So I'm using the platform God gave me to give them access. So my church is no longer belonging to me. Your church does not belong to you only. We are giving people access. We announce them. Our own members are seeing them. Members around the world are seeing them. Christians are seeing them. Well-meaning believers are seeing them. And they say, oh, so if the prophet says that's an apostle, that means that's an apostle. And that person carries more power. Now their voice is now backed by a certain endorsement from the Spirit. That's why I look forward to see apostles and prophets and pastors, and I never feel threatened. I am major. I don't feel threatened. You see here, I'm a prophet, so I'm never threatened. Do you know how I came to this country? From Britain. I arrived here after being invited by the church we had started. And then the pastor there was close to Apostle Java. Apostle B. Java. And the pastor said, I want to introduce you to the apostle. He's my friend. I said, no problem. Then the apostle said, yeah, I've watched you on TV. I said, wow, thank you. Which TV? Faith TV. So they were already. So when we started, then I said, okay, we're going to do a conference together with him, with Apostle Java, okay? And on the flyers, it had me, Apostle Java, and we had written, just as seen on TV. Just like TV. First meeting. Are you hearing this? First meeting. I ministered. After I ministered, we're driving our car. And to cut the long story short, this same major with the same mantle, with the same prophetic unction, would not be anything without the people that became the midwives and being used by God to become the midwives. Midwives to carry my gift into another section where they put their own platforms at risk to present a gift and say, I love this gift, let it be there. I remember I was ministering, and then that's where we had a meeting with Prophet Makandiwa, somewhere there, that you have seen him say, I sat with him, I tested this, I did this, all that process. But you know one thing about that man? That's why you need to understand. You know one thing? I'm sitting there and I'm supposed to go back to Britain. And they said, we need your gift in this country. I'm like, yeah, listen, wait. He said, we need your gift in this country. I said, oh, okay. That's wonderful. But my church is in UK. And I have to move this and move this and move this. I was giving all kinds of excuses. He said, let's meet tomorrow. By the following day, he had a house in Brook. Finished. Everything. Done. He had said, the cars are here. And guess what? You had a small PA system you got somewhere. I'm going to give you the big PA system to use for your church. Number one. Car, chairs, bought, everything. Now you have no reason to go back to Britain. They did not get it. Now, all my reasons now are removed. Because my reasons were not because of God. My reasons were I have resources there, not here. Now imagine, are you here? Are you here? Then he said, let's go to my church and minister. I went to the city sports. How many were there? Remember, we have some people who just wave your hand. You see, we went to the city sports. We got to the city sports. I'd never seen people like that. I get in there, I sit down. He says, oh, man of God, here's the mic. Prophesy. Oh, I started prophesying in there. Now, here are thousands and thousands of people sitting in one location, seeing a gift in manifestation. Somebody risking their own platform because you don't know my character. But you are in love with the gift of God. So you risk your own reputation to put a gift of God. Now hear this. Hear this. Hear this. If it was another person, they would look at it and go like, no, this is competition. This guy should just do what he's doing, and I do what I am doing. Would get 2 a.m. Would take each other from houses and just talk about God from there. Someone using his platform. Some of you would not have known me if it wasn't for that man. You would not have known me. So don't be in this groove of members pitting this one against this one. Who is greater than this one? Who is greater than this one? We know, me and him, we know who we are. We know who excels where and who excels where. We know, the two of us know. And it has never been an issue. It will be shocking that if I have a need, I will call him and say, hey, I've got this issue here. Pray. Do you know how me trusting you with my prayer? My prayer request. Me giving you my prayer request. Like, yeah. You understand? The only one who has that thing is Pastor Chris and my wife. Those ones, yeah. My wife, Pastor Chris, Makandiwa. These three. I can trust them with my prayer requests. But just imagine that everything is set and a man is saying, come and do exactly what you just showed me there. Do it in this country. Let this country be known as a country that pushes the voice of God to the world. I want you here, sitting here with your own church here. Be here. One service, let me tell you something that happened one service. He stood in front and said, a Prophet Angel is starting his church. You have seen what he can do. Now, I preach in Shona. You guys, you heard he preaches in English. So if you like English, even though you are my member, from now onwards, you are now Prophet Angel's member. 100%. You remember, Patrick? You were there, right? Hey.
Yes, sir.
Now just imagine.
That's how we followed you, sir.
That's how you followed me?
Yes.
Were you in that church?
Yes.
You see?
I was part of UFI, interdenominational.
And then as an interdenominational,
yes,
before it became
before it was a church.
And he said,
then he said, he said, actually, some of you is your father. You are not supposed to be here. That's how we started to fall.
You see, he's saying, wow, here. Now, do you understand what I'm saying? So imagine I remember when Prophet Victor said, be careful about your members. He said, these ones are the ones who try to bring and put seeds of division between the two of you. And what a prophecy. But imagine that platform being taken, increased in that capacity. Oh, I forgot. Now, so that you understand, I want to tell you, I've told you about Rodney. I've told you about this. The prayer mountain you are in now, they said we wanted 50,000 or something. You were there? 50,000. They wanted 50,000. And when they said they wanted 50,000, what then happened was, Prophet said, they want 50,000 deposit? Yes. Here's the 50,000 for the prayer mountain. 100%. No, that was a deposit only. But the deposit was like what at that time for the part we were buying, I think it was like 100,000. So it was half of the price. That's how we started getting land for Good News City over and over. When you have access, a midwife, somebody who sees what you carry and is not jealous of it, is not competing, is simply saying, let God move and move. But for these people to have, these luminaries in the spirit, to have the capacity to give you their stage, is because God has blessed them financially. God has moved them to another level. So they're not competing with you. They're just establishing. I wish today you will get your own midwife. I said you get your own midwife. If Rodney and Howard Browne ignored me, if Pastor Chris ignored me, if TB Joshua had not given me a piece, if Prophet Makandiwa had not given me the larger part of everything and say, this is my platform, show the world what you are born to do. If that had not happened, listen, you would be saying major from a little location. And God will know what I gave him is a mantle for the world, but it will not be seen. There's nobody. We don't hide light under a bushel, says the scriptures. We put it on top of a mountain. But it needs one person to remove the bush or the basket and say, hey, let the light shine. My only thing that I need to do is protect my access. That's it. And don't think protecting access is easy. No, there are people who try to make you mad. There are people who are trying to make you crazy. When I went to Pastor Chris, there was a man who had already brought pages and pages to another pastor to give Pastor Chris to say this man should not be accepted. And Pastor Chris was there. Pastor Chris said, they wanted to give me papers. I said, I will only listen to what the Lord says. And the Lord said, you should be here. And that has protected me.
So this was beautiful. So do share your thoughts, my family. I'll meet you in the next one. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.